Hey, how's it going? Dave 2D here, and this is the cheapest gaming laptop on the market with a 6GB GTX 1060. And it's kind of weird because it's coming from a brand name company, Acer. And the hardware in here is very powerful, but the question that I think a lot of people may be asking, is it worth it? And whether or not you should purchase this laptop versus something that's slightly less powerful, but a little bit cheaper. And that's what this video is here to help you with. So right off the bat, we're kind of deep into the product cycle for both the CPU and the GPU. I'm not gonna go into too much detail about their performance. It's a Kaby Lake 7700 HQ and a GTX 1060, so it's gonna crush most games. And I gotta be honest, I was expecting the fans to be loud because of the pricing, but the fans are quiet. The thermals, however, aren't great. The temperatures are a little warm, nothing too bad. It doesn't throttle at all in games, but I would just like to see lower temperatures. Regardless, we're seeing excellent frame rates on this thing for 1080p gaming. So first, the good stuff. The build quality is surprisingly good. It's got a metal top panel, plastic everywhere else, and you would think it would have a lot of flex on the chassis, but it doesn't. It's really solid, and even the screen and hinges are built well. I think they made some great material choices here. It's not particularly thin, and it's also a little bit heavy, but it is durable. The speakers are okay, they're down firing and they get pretty loud. You can play game audio over the fans, but they don't sound particularly clear and they lack bass. If you want positional audio for gaming, you're gonna have to get headphones going. The port selection is pretty standard for the price point. There's 3 USB-A's and a single USB-C, which doesn't support Thunderbolt 3. If you're interested in upgrading the internals, there's 2 doors on the bottom. One door lets you add a 2.5-inch SATA drive, and then the other is for the 2 RAM slots. They include 16 gigs, but opening the rest of the case isn't easy. I got kind of far, but I chickened out because I didn't want to break the casing. I'm sure it's possible, but if you plan on changing the SSD, you gotta nut up and go in pretty deep. And the SSD they include isn't super fast, so you might want to do it. The keyboard has a number pad. The layout feels not bad. The shift key is kind of weirdly positioned, but I personally didn't have any issues using it. The mechanism for the keys feel a little spongy, but I can still type pretty fast. It's strange because each individual stroke doesn't feel great, but when you type on it as a whole, it's a very comfortable keyboard to use. Now, I think part of that comes from just personal preference. I think the average person is gonna find this keyboard decent. The trackpad uses Windows precision drivers. It's got great tracking. Clicking is a little stiff. You gotta press down harder than normal to register a click, but it's good otherwise. And if you're a tapper and not a clicker, it's actually really good. Now there are a few things that I don't like. The temperatures, like I mentioned earlier, it's not that they're super hot or anything, it's just I wish it ran a little bit cooler. But the thing is, it's difficult to get into the internals of this device. So if there's any kind of dust buildup in the fans, it might be hard to clean them out. The other thing is that the battery life isn't great. It's a 48 watt-hour battery, and I'm getting around 4 hours of battery life with the screen at 250 nits. It's passable, and I guess expected considering the price of the system. Now the last thing I don't like, and this is a big one for me, it's the screen. It's 1080p, not a touchscreen. The color gamut isn't super bad. I mean, looking at the numbers, it doesn't look great, but visually it's not too bad. But the thing that really ruins it for me is the brightness. It's really dim if you're using it in bright environments, and I found it difficult to play games in the daytime. In the evening, or if I close all the blinds, it's fine, but yeah, it's not a very bright screen. Now, the screen is where a lot of companies will kind of cheap out if they have to keep their laptops at a certain price point, and I feel like that's what they've done. So you're still getting an amazingly powerful device for the money. I mean, a GTX 1060 is almost overkill for 1080p games on laptops because we're capped at the 60 frames per second on the screens. I think the purchase decision boils down to which games you actually play. If you're someone that plays a lot of kind of mid-tier AAA shooters and stuff like that, those aren't super demanding. I would actually opt for a 1050 Ti. Those are gonna last you a couple years with great frame rates, and you'll save a little bit of money and you can spend on faster drives and stuff like that. But if you're someone that plays like open world games like GTA 5, Witcher 3, then go for the GTX 1060 because you're the type of gamer that this laptop was built for.